New Beginnings Toastmasters Club, please come to order. Lee Walker filling in Sergeant Arms this evening for our event. We'll welcome all Toastmasters to our meeting this evening. We'll move right into our first role, Invocation by Andrew Bullock. So welcome, Andrew.
Good evening, New Beginnings Toastmasters. How is everybody feeling this evening?
Good.
That's good.
We got it.
In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I thought I would share something that I'm thankful for as our invocation this evening. I have actually been going through a rough time lately, dealing with my circumstances, having a roof over my head, so on and so forth. But one thing that has really helped pull me through is I've had this amazing support system. Part of it comes in the form of New Beginnings Toastmasters. Part of it comes in the form of the Landmark Forum, and part of it comes in the form of my friends and family that are surrounding me, usually all the time. And it's just wonderful to have so much love and support around me at all times. And whenever you feel downtrodden and beaten, just remember that you too have a support system around you. This time I will pass the meeting over to our club president. Wait, is a club president or acting president?
Club president.
All right, club president, Mr. David Anthony Marshall.
I have the power. Good evening. Oh, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Beginnings Toastmasters. Dave Marshall, president. I see we have a guest. Yes. Stay and let us know your name and tell us why you're here. What brings you here?
Lawrence, new student orientation. Heard there's extra credit, so I figured I'd give it a shot, see what it's about.
Okay.
It's also about public speaking.
It is.
So I haven't do that.
Okay.
So,
Welcome, Lawrence. Thanks for doing this. Were you invited by anyone here? Or?
no. I just enrolled last week.
Okay.
So I just found out about it last week. Friday.
Oh, cool. Good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good time. What do you expect?
Me?
Just
No
to
idea.
check us out, see what we're about.
See how it goes.
Well, you can see we're hybrid. We have some folks on Zoom, so we're hybrid. We have Andrew and Miss Elizabeth Claire, and we have a full agenda. Do we have a full agenda today?
Except for a timer that isn't here yet.
All right.
You might have been timer anyways.
We have a timer. We have 2 speakers. We have 2 evaluators. Table topics taken care of. All right, let's get this show on the road. Roll the show. I'd like to bring up our Toastmaster of evening. Dogs, Toastmaster dogs.
Thank you, David. Well, good evening and welcome, Toastmasters and guests, to another Toastmasters Club meeting. Tonight will be sort of a different kind of meeting. It'll be a trimmed down, slimmer meeting. As we prepare for the seasons of gluttony, passing around the turkey, and lots of eating ahead of us, we'll go on a little bit of a diet this evening. All that to say, this evening will feature just our bare basics, the essentials. We're going to have 3 speakers tonight with their evaluators, 3 evaluators, and table topics. So we're going to be trimming a little bit of the fat there with helper roles, if you will. So let's start off with introducing our timer of the night, Mr. Lee Walker. Lee, would you explain your role?
In Toastmasters, we time everything, our speeches, our evaluations, and table topics. So tonight's event, I think our speeches are all 5 to 7.
Yep.
So at 5 minutes, I'll show green. At 6 minutes, show yellow. And at 7, I'm holding it up until the speaker is finished, red. Our evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show green. At 2.5 minutes, I'll show yellow. And at 3 minutes, I will show red. Table topics portion is 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I'll show green. One and a half, I'll show yellow. And 2, I'll show red. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lee. All right. Well, now that we know how the timing is going to work, let's go ahead and get right into it. And also, thank you very much, Lee, for pinch hitting as timer for us tonight. We are going to skip to our second speaker of the night to start us off. Mr. Zachary Phillips will be giving us a speech towards his Pathways Engaging Humor, Level 1. This is an evaluation and feedback, second part. This will be the second part of his evaluation feedback project, where he will be incorporating his feedback given from the last speech that he was given and incorporating to that. So the speech title is Zenify Your Life, One Goal at a Time. With a rebuttal from his previous speech, please welcome the Zen Master, Zach Phillips.
All right, so raise your hand if you want to reduce your overthinking nature. No, you don't. You don't want to.
I really don't overthink that much.
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe you're quite the Zen master, because originally I was going to do basically the same speech I wanted to do before, but honestly, I don't live up to this whole gamified sort of concept where it's it's like you do a task based on what you roll. So, but what it really comes down to is what do I do instead in order to get my goals accomplished besides the gamification. And I could do the complete opposite, which is basically, I don't know, like utilitarianism sort of thing, where it's just like, make a decision, at once you know what's going on. But, I'd like to probably find it somewhere in the middle. And so I've always had this, concept of Zen and, just meditation in general. So meditation, I picked up sort of like after college or during college even. And it really has helped out a lot. I don't practice it regularly, but having said that, it's something that, I do from time to time. I've done everything from Zen meditation to like staring at like a spot on the wall to, self-hypnosis, which is a form of meditation, like using like binaural beats, or even just, I don't know, just any sort of walking meditation, any sort of thing like that. And that honestly is a great example of how to get stuff done. I mean, having said that, there's some advantages to gamification. If you want to do like menial tasks, if you're feeling bored, and you just want to like, get your stuff, accomplished more often. Just pick up a die, or even just like, make a to-do list, just pick up one random one. So, I mean, there's nothing completely wrong with gamification. There's nothing wrong with completely leaving life up to chance. Having said that, what I've always wanted to do is master a subject. I went to school for music, specifically voice, and I spent a lot of hours, in the study of music. I mean, I'm definitely not a master by any stretch of the imagination, but what I've learned through several hours, like 1,000 hours, maybe 2,000 hours, maybe more, I don't know it's the exact number, is that, the more you can get out of your own way, just practice, just like listening to yourself, or even just getting it out of your own way, like stop the internal monologue. The better you'll sing, the better you'll play, the better you'll give this speech as an example, just like, so there's really just a good desire to basically incorporate Zen, or just, like thoughtlessness into your daily life. So, I mean, like, which do you think you prefer? Would you prefer to just like leave it up to chance and, like roll a die, or, like, I don't know, 50-50, like, pick a number between 1 and 100, and if it's like above 50, you'll do this, or do you just want to, focus, on one sort of thing, master, one sort of discipline, or is there some sort of balance? What do you think, Robert?
I think it depends on where you are in your life, but I can honestly say that for me in the last 6 or 7 months, I've leaned more towards just focusing on one thing and letting that calm myself. But when I'm more busy, I find that if I leave things up to random chance, it finds a way to de-stress me. So I think it would depend on my surroundings, but I would say overall, the better option is probably the one where you just focus and let the Zen flow.
Yeah, and there's a book entitled Mastery by Robert Greene, and that's not the original version of the 10,000 hours, but like, it's just like he talks about, like the great masters just settle, focus their minds on one thing and just like chop at it, and even when good things go bad, even when things go a little good, just keep chopping at it, keep chopping at it, keep chopping at it. And then you'll even like experience like a little lull, or even like a plateau. But then like after, a certain amount of hours, you'll become like a master at it. What do you think, Sandeep? Would you like leave it more to chance, or would you, just focus on your goals, whatever your goal is?
Just focus on what we have in control, and the rest will take care of itself. I don't know.
Focus on what you can't control?
Yeah, what we can control.
Oh,
Focus
okay.
on what we can control, and we can't think about the uncontrollables.
Mhm.
Those just happen. It's all luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you more towards the gamification, or are you more towards the?
Yeah, I think gamification plays a role in
Okay.
everyone's life. Like, I think it's not entirely like what we do.
Yeah.
Some things just happen. It's all like fate or destiny, whatever you call it. Like, yeah, that's what life is.
So what do you want to do more than anything?
What do we want to do?
I mean, I guess ultimately just focus on that. I mean, and another thing is if you don't know what you want to do, you can make a list of, like, okay, I want to do this, this, and that, and like the things that you'll end up enjoying the most, just focus on those more and more. So, I mean, it's a balancing process between, random chance and what Robert talked about with focusing on, one goal, and what I'm talking about right now. So, yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately it's just sort of like a balancing act. I don't know. I don't really have a conclusion, but ultimately, if you like to complete multiple small goals, then by all means, roll the dice. But always ponder whether or not this is moving you towards achieving mastery or away from it. My most meaningful moments in life were when I was just in the zone, in the flow state, and just, let the music flow through me. And really that's like, to me, that's Zen. To me, that's the bliss of the beautiful moment. So thank you so much, Toastmaster. And
Thank you very much, Zach, for that enlightened speech. I was going to get my riff on it.
there we go.
Can I please get a minute on the clock for evaluations? And for our guests, this is a great time to either hit up the snack bar or use the facilities.
Lawrence. Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. And we'll move right into our second speech of the night. For this speech, I would like to introduce Priscilla Hernandez. She'll be working on her Pathways, Motivational Strategies, Level 1 speech on the project Researching and Presenting. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and it's entitled, What Exactly is Diabetes? Please welcome Priscilla with her speech about diabetes.
This.
Hello. Today I will be talking to you guys about what diabetes is. So before we can get started, there's two types of diabetes. There's type 1, type 2. Type 1 is also known as the autoimmune diabetes. Type 2 is known as the lifestyle diabetes. Does anybody off the top of their head, without looking on Google, know what body part diabetes directly affects?
Pancreas.
Yes, it's the pancreas. Okay. What your pancreas does, right, its sole job is to break down starches, fats, and sugars, and it turns it into energy. So the way it does that is it produces this hormone called insulin. Now, in an individual with diabetes, their pancreas, for type 1, their pancreas one day just says, you know what, I give up, I'm not making insulin anymore. You're done. I'm done. Done doing this, not doing it anymore, right? So stops making insulin, no insulin production for a person with type 1, okay? Person with type 2, their pancreas still works. It either works sometimes by making too much insulin, or it develops a thing that is called insulin resistance. Okay. So to better help you understand better, I will be referencing a chart from a book called The First Book for Understanding Diabetes. Really good book, by the way. Really helps you to understand diabetes. And I'll go ahead and be copying something out of here to help you understand a little more. I'm going to write on this handy dandy board over here.
Quick question, is it diabetes or diabetes?
Diabetes. It is diabetes.
Wilfred Brimley would say diabetes.
Diabetes.
So for a person without sick,
That's like a type 1 pancreas.
yeah. So for a person without diabetes, you have the liver over here. This is going to be your stomach. Don't judge my drawings. It's going to be your cell. Okay. This is going to be. This is going to be your cell. These are going to be the little bridges. Left stream over here. Okay. This is going to be a cup of pee.
Mm.
All right. Can everybody see that?
Not that
Your stomach is not connected to your bloodstream?
It is, it's connected.
Oh.
Okay. So what happens in a person that does not have diabetes is their stomach takes all this starch and sugar, right? And it takes it and it throws it in here. So you have sugar. And in a person that has a pancreas that works, there's an insulin bridge. That's these two little lines are right here. We'll say insulin bridge. Oh, forgot to name this little guy. This cell. Okay. Now, because there's an insulin bridge here, right? There is insulin over here, so it's blocking off sugar coming to it's blocking off sugar going into the liver, right? And the sugar goes through here, goes through this insulin bridge, right? So the insulin bridge then turns the sugar into energy, okay? And there's no sugar in the pee. Now, with someone without the normal pancreas, aka diabetes. This is gone, right? This insulin bridge, because their pancreas does not produce insulin or produces too much. Okay, this insulin bridge is gone over here too. So now what happens is the sugar has no way to get to the cell. The liver is over here just sucking up all the sugars it's not supposed to. Okay, it's got nowhere to go, so you have all this excess sugar. So now it's going to come down and it's going to go right into your pee. Back in the old days, fun fact, doctors had no way to test whether or not you had diabetes, so they'd stick their finger in your pee and taste it. It would be really sweet, or it would smell really sweet.
When did they stop doing that?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So is that also why you have fatty liver disease with diabetes?
Yes. So energy is gone because you got this hungry little cell over here, not getting any energy, not getting any sugars. So now said person with diabetes is energyless. And if they are type 1 diabetic, they're most likely have high blood sugars, right? Which means their blood sugar. So a person with normal blood sugars, right? Everyone in this room that doesn't have diabetes, your blood sugar should range anywhere from 70 to 100, okay? For fasting, if you're fasting. Now, if you're not fasting, it'll range from 70 to 140. Okay, 70 being the lowest, 140 being the highest. Person with diabetes, the lowest is 70. It obviously can get lower. It can get lower than 70, but once they get lower than 70, it becomes really dangerous. The common problem with people with type 1 and type 2 is that they have higher blood sugars, right? So instead of being at the normal range of 70 to 140, their ranges are typically 180 to 300. Now, once you get over 400, that's whenever diabetic ketoacidosis starts. And what that is a coma. That's how type 1 diabetics often get diagnosed, by going to the hospital because they have really high blood sugars. Yeah.
You said above 400?
About 400. 400 and above is within that range. It's pretty dangerous. Now, if you would like to see if you're going to have diabetes or not, or if you're pre-diabetic, there's a test called the A1c test. Now, what it does is it tests your blood sugar range from the past 2 to 3 months, and it'll tell you the percentage of where your blood sugar has been. And that will determine if you're pre-diabetic, if you have diabetes, or if you're good. That is all that I have for you guys today.
Thank you, Priscilla. Excellent job. Really kind of a diabetes for dummies. That was actually really well done. Thank you very much. Okay, can I please get a minute for evaluations? It's your time. All right, thank you very much. Before we get into our final speech tonight, I'd just like to take the moment to recap for our guests, sort of the flow of tonight's proceedings. So we have 3 speakers tonight, and with each speaker we have an evaluator. Each evaluator is assigned to a speaker. So if you'll notice, we do have a minute after each speech, and again, each evaluator and also the rest of our members can do a little informal evaluation for notes, their own notes to the speaker. It gives them some time to make some notes, and then they will be performing their evaluation later on in the agenda. So with that being said, we'll move on to our third and final speech for the night. Speaker will be Robert Riggs, EC level 5 and VC level 3. His speech tonight is working towards Pathways of Visionary Communication level 5. It is for the project Develop Your Vision, part 1, and this is a 5 to 7 minute speech. The speech is entitled Financial Independence and Some Other Stuff, part 1. Our final speaker of the evening is going to talk about himself. Robert started talking about himself when he gave his first icebreaker speech in September of 2016 and has relished talking about himself ever since. But instead of just telling you how his life has brought him here, he will tell you about where his life is going. Please welcome to the lectern, the future, that fire father, Robert Riggs.
Lawrence,
Sir,
you are here for extra credit, correct?
sir.
Why are you here for extra credit?
Well, turns out education is not my strong suit.
All right. And education, though, will get you what? You get a degree, what do you get?
Hopefully a decent job.
A decent job with a better income, right?
Right.
Right. How about anybody else? Why are you here tonight? Lee, Priscilla, Sandeep, David, why are you all here tonight? Somehow this is going to help your professional life in one way or another. It's not just because we're friends and we get to play top golf with Zach's money. No, that's not it. It's because we are here to better ourselves professionally. Now imagine for a second that you never have to work again for the rest of your life. Imagine that. Let's just close our eyes and say, I choose not to work. You're online, do the same thing with me. I choose not to work. That's right. Now, if that's true, then you can go on vacation anywhere, anytime you want. If you have enough money, you have the power to take your life and transform yourself to anywhere you want. On the Appalachian Trail like I did. You can go to Spain. You can go live in Japan like Elizabeth did. Didn't you go live in Japan, Elizabeth?
I didn't live in Japan. 2 weeks to work.
Okay, somewhere though, over there. But she did that and she loved it. We can make choices when our needs are met. You see, my vision is simple. Freedom of choice. I can choose to work or not to work. That is the question. My vision is simple. I want to be financially free. If you look up the term FIRE, it's financial independence, retire early. That's what I focus most of my waking hours towards. It's not always easy. Sometimes it can be a little daunting, but if you get used to it, if you get used to taking your money, paying yourself first, after a while, it gets comfortable. It becomes natural. And then after you've accumulated enough money, you get to move towards doing whatever you want, whenever you want. And if you get fat FIRE, that means you can be fat and happy for the rest of your life. My goal is to make that happen, not at 70, not at 65, but at 50 or earlier. Fat FIRE is actually pretty daunting. It's about 3 million. I think that's my number. Could be 5 million. The good news is I will probably get married to a woman who's going to make just as much money as I will, so I can basically cut my efforts in half. Isn't that great? You know, a friend of mine in college asked me one time, what would you do if your wife made more money than you? And I said, well, I'm going to make a lot of money, so chances are I'll probably retire early. And it's true. I have these goals in mind. I've actually given you a sheet because I actually had to write these out. What are my goals? Well, I decided to use a 15-year plan. Some people use 1, 3, 5 years plans. I used a 5, 10, and 15-year plan. The first one is simple. When I'm 40, what am I going to do? Well, I want to have at least a $500,000 net worth. I'm almost halfway there. So another 4 years, is it doable? Well, I actually save probably about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. I think it's doable. I think it's quite possible, especially if I keep investing. Next one, I want to have at least 3 rental properties. I love the fact that I can buy houses and make people like Sandeep live in them, and then Sandeep will pay me money. That's a great vision. That's a really good vision. That means I don't actually have to work. That means Sandeep can pay for me to live. Thank you, Sandeep. I appreciate that.
Gotta get real estate in India.
That's right. Hey, there you go. There's a lot of what do they call them? Double family houses or whatever over there. So yeah, it might work. There's lots of those apartment condos over there. Investment analyst, model risk analyst, side hustle. So I'm going to tell you right now, the question comes down to, if I'm going to get there, how am I going to do it? Well, that's actually more around the nature of my second speech. But I'm going to tell you right now that I've envisioned that I want to do these things by working towards them the way I want to work towards them. I love working in investments. I've been applying to be an investment analyst recently, and I've also worked in that investment side of things before. I like working in risk management for banks. I love the fact that banks are purely profit driven. All they love is money, and I'm okay with that because I feel the same way. So I like working for people who like profit. And truth be told, I've worked in banks, and most of the time they're not as money hungry as you think. They're just workaday people who want to succeed. They want to make a better product out there for better people. They're so regulated, you can't even do much with it. But my goal is to work in an environment that I enjoy. My vision is that I will be able to get to financial independence by doing what I love to do, which might mean, it'll probably mean doing people's taxes for money. Zach, I did your taxes last year, didn't I? I didn't charge you anything.
True.
I might not do that again next. I might not charge you this year because you're my friend, but eventually I may charge you. No, I'm kidding. I probably won't. But doing people's taxes, doing people's investments, helping them, being their financial coach, these are things that I can turn into a business. It's a side hustle. In the middle of all this, maybe even before I have children, I would love to finish walking the AT and the Continental Divide Trail while dinking and dunking. Well, dinking is simple. Double income, no kids. You know how easy it is to save a ton of money if you have no kids and 2 incomes? And I'm dinking while doing that, but I'm also dunking all the time because I'm thinking, man, I'm saving so much money. I can go walk the trail. I can do whatever I want. So that's my goal by 40. 45, simple, 1.5 million net worth, at least 10 rental properties. Maybe I've become a banking manager. Maybe I'm a team lead. Who knows? And I can be a fat fire father. I can have kids that I can, be little kids, maybe from the age of like 2 or 3, I can get them to say financial independence. Maybe I can get to teach them certain things like rental property. Sandeep is our renter. Maybe I can get them to say things like that. And by 50, I'm talking 3 million net worth. I'm talking at least 20 rental properties. I'm probably retired by then. Maybe my side hustle has become my full-time job. I can work virtually wherever I want, whenever I want, or not at all. I have choice. And finally, I can finish the last great American trail by the time I'm 50, the PCT. These are my major visions. Over the next 5, 10, 15 years, I think I can get there. I'm going to give you a plan about how I'm going to get there in about, 3 weeks. Maybe like, 2 weeks before Christmas. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that my vision is to get there, and I've put so much effort and time into it that I've actually already created action plans. You get to hear more about that later. But I can tell you that right now, perspiration and preparation is the only way for me to execute my vision. That's the only thing that's going to get me there. And I'll tell you more about that in about 3 weeks. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Robert. That was pretty motivating. And we get to stay tuned with a cliffhanger. Okay, can I get a minute on the clock, please? Everybody good? Right. Well, let's go ahead and move into a short break. We'll say about.
Timer's report, timer's report. Timer's report.
Before the break. Okay, timer's reports for the break. So, Mr. Lee Walker, would you please give us your timer's report for our speakers thus far?
First speaker, Priscilla Hernandez, 7 minutes, 23 seconds. Second speaker, Zach Phillips, 6 minutes, 53 seconds. And our third speaker, Robert Riggs, 7 minutes, 29 seconds.
Yes.
Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, now, if you'd like, we can go ahead and take a break. We'll say about, I'm sorry, we should vote, right? Do we have?
It depends on who our acting sergeant at arms is.
So.
So we have our speakers up on the board. They are Zach Phillips, Priscilla Hernandez, and Robbie Riggs. Please choose your pick for the best speaker of the night to be tallied up later. If you would, go ahead and rip your sheets in half. That way we'll have another vote later on.
Is my pen okay?
Oh, there's more pens right there.
Oh, no.
It's your pen.
Is that it?
Yeah, you can.
Everyone have their thing on cheek. Ballot.
I'll go with ballots. About in internet land.
Did you take them all?
Andrew, are you waiting on anybody?
Elizabeth hasn't voted yet.
Oh, I gotta vote.
You don't mind.
Got it.
I'm trying to get you guys to that break. So maybe this time we can go to that break. So for the even 10 minutes, that'll put us at about 7:50. So see you in 10 minutes. Yeah.
Normally we don't need on
Over there to the shop. Your guests.
have something called
They really bring some live people over there. and watch.
Let me ask you, hey, Andrew, you there?
Yeah, they did.
No.
Hey, Lawrence, right? Lawrence said he wanted to do a table topic, if you're table topics master.
Excellent.
So, yeah, because what we'll do is we got plenty of time. Basically, any questions?
No, so they have like.
Tell us for 1 to 2 minutes. Why raise your hand? Go.
Everything that Donna said. He said that.
I just know one
She
thing.
basically said.
Los Angeles, right?
I think it said more.
Other than that, I don't know. Two of them are. Or the main. One of them is an engineer.
And now you're winning with a blue shirt. You're trying to unify.
They're basically.
Brand,
why it's down
full throttle, full
the
circle.
same.
There you go.
This one.
every single time. Like, call them and send a call every time.
Feels
Yeah.
way-
Yeah,
Sorry?
Yeah, so they're trying to, like,
So what he's getting to come here, what does he need to do on the spot? You guys have to get up and do speeches or how it
Oh,
works?
no, so this is.
We were actually migrating that.
Get used to being a college student. This is Canvas. This is.
I can go ask him.
He's still here.
Oh, he never leaves. Let me go find out. He's
He
here.
said he leaves early.
Every single time we finished at like 9:30, he's still here.
I would have said why you gave the speech about diabetes. I think that would have been really important and tactful. But other than that, amazing.
I appreciate that.
And also,
I put in a good word with
people
you.
can't really see the internet. You know, the diagram. I mean, you know, that's no one's fault.
By the way, technically the stomach
There we go.
has blood to the stomach, but where the sugar breaks down, it's primarily in the small intestine. And that's how, because that's where it basically has it emulsifies. And so that's where sugar goes in. So it's technically through the small intestines that then goes into the bloodstream. So.
You know what I meant.
I can't, my med school knowledge was like error. So he did a good job. He did a good job.
So is everybody at like different programs?
You're the only one. We've had like one student, I think he's one or two that came here. Like we had MOBA for a while. David Dent. Oh, that's right, David Dent. So yeah, most of us are just professionals that most people in our club, nobody's, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that doesn't mean that we don't dislike ECPA. We just haven't, we just don't come. Where's the eraser? Everybody was so worried about the wings and the and everything else. Kudos to Sandeep for bringing out us the Panera. Very nice.
If I was the GE, I would
That's
say
my go-to.
the banner should be put out.
Oh, it should be. That's not my job. That's the sergeant at arms job.
Well, good thing I'm not the GE this year.
Yeah, you're too short. Well, then you failed to delegate.
Me?
You failed.
I think it was like good enough to see what's happening.
I talked to Jim. I convinced him to give me 3 points.
You have to like complete a certain number of projects
Nope.
or something like that, or what?
He just said show up. Just show up. So say, leave me a note about what's going on. I'm just very laid back, but
Yeah.
I was like, easy points. I'll take it.
It's fun.
That's our president's main goal, and I agree with that 100%. It's makes it fun.
Yeah, first, second, and fourth, Tuesday.
50
times.
Yeah.
End of the year is kind of different.
We're moving so quickly, it'll luxurious break.
So this will be the
So
last
they're moving
event.
so quickly, you know,
It's longer.
That's
And
it.
then we'll come back in December 7th or something like that. I'll probably have 2 events. One is the,
Did we, once the regular meeting, once a party, right?
yeah,
Or do you want to do?
Elizabeth, is it getting pretty cold up there?
what, I'll tell you.
She's in.
I'm not up there anymore.
All the way up in Virginia.
I'm back in
regular-
Virginia.
You're back?
Party or whatever.
I'm back. Came back
Oh,
2 days.
good.
We'll start off.
The housekeeper.
I'm back.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
I confess I haven't been going to the park hardly at all anymore. I probably missed it.
Yeah, it's, in the past, we've had first, second, and maybe third.
It snowed here yesterday.
Because it's so, it's 70th, but 10th to 21st, now everybody else is so busy with the holidays, like, and whatnot. Yeah.
I'm sure she likes it.
But we'll meet on the next second case.
I'm the worst. Sounds like we should have our calendars.
Yeah.
I can't remember my own birthday.
How old is the oldest?
Like, honestly,
Your own birthday.
I promise you. I'll be looking at it like, oh, birthday's this month. But it's gonna happen. It's about to go down.
Yeah, most of them.
Oh, crap, our birthdays. Like, it's like, the worst with calendars. It's like, my eyes depend on, like,
You ever forget your own birthday?
yes. Yes, I have.
Wait, it's my birthday? Oh, that was 2 days ago.
Also, it didn't help that like my career, I'm career military. So after the first 3 birthdays in the military, or the first 3 years in the military, like every holiday I was working, I was like, I don't care about holiday anymore. And chances are I'm gonna be working. That's the difference. Just another day.
Well, once you get to your second tour, you get your second contract. Probably, basically, at that point, you get a lot of holidays off, right? No. Even
What?
I would, yeah. Once you're like 5-10 years in, like you make all the grunts. Come on the holidays.
So it depends. It depends
on
on your job. So
All the high level work.
my job for like the first 18 years was always based on someone else's work schedule.
But you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
No,
I'm 30.
you're older than me.
Yeah, so much job. So, I mean,
I thought you were like mid-20s, like 20, 20.
Appreciate it. No, yeah, done. With that. For now, this is
How many years were you in?
21.
You got your retirement.
Well, whenever it gets here, I just
So
I'm
you're-
just retired
You're basically fired, just like me.
and jobless. I was almost homeless.
There you go. How can you be homeless if you have a pension?
Well, it didn't kick in yet, and then
Oh.
Virginia, for whatever reason, decided to raise everyone's rent. Not my rent at the moment. So my rent went from $1,600 to almost $3,000, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta stop. I literally backed it down to 2,100. I'm like, yeah, I have to move up. I can't afford to keep this.
I don't know anywhere that I know that wants to charge me 3,000. I'm not with it. That's ridiculous. The most I've ever paid for rent in my entire life was, now granted that a lot of times, college stuff like that, I had roommates, but the most I've ever paid for rent in my entire life is all utilities included. One time was $1,200 to spend.
Now's the time to buy, actually.
Right.
Now's the time?
Well, not
it
now,
was-
but
well, actually, a year ago was better, but I'm refinancing now.
Yeah.
So I'm actually refinancing. I'm getting a high interest rate because I'm changing my loan type, but
Right.
I'm getting a lower mortgage.
That's what I hear. And I heard like summer's the time to buy.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to close next week.
Seller's market.
As long as you don't get those, you're not trying to get the balloon thing or the adjustable rate, the arms.
No, it's fixed.
Oh, okay. As long as you don't get an arm, you're good.
No, 30-year fixed.
So my biggest problem, well, I won't say my biggest problem, I have the ability to live in Hawaii.
Ooh.
In Hawaii, a space like this is like $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. Why is it?
New meetings, Toastmasters Club, please come to order. Be moving into the next portion of our meeting, but let's first welcome up our Toastmaster of the evening, Lou.
Thank you, Lee. Now, for the night, we get to move into the fun portion. Topics, table topics. So, would you please welcome our table topics master, Toastmaster Andrew Bullock.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dobbs. All right. So this is our impromptu speaking opportunity. I will give you a question. Actually, I won't give you a question. I'm going to give you a statement, and you're going to finish that statement. You have 1 to 2 minutes. Make sure you keep an eye on Lee and wait for him to hold up that green before you stop talking. If you don't see that green, you don't qualify for best speaker. All right. So, actually, Luke, would you like to be my first victim? All right. So our first statement is, I never thought in a million years that my mom would. I never thought in a million years that my mom would.
I never thought in a million years that my mom would be accompanying me on a bar crawl.
Ooh.
But it happens. It's kind of funny as a kid. You're in sort of a bubble, and you think your parents are just these straight and narrow square types. It turns out you really just been sucking on the fun of life because they can't do it in front of you. By the time you become of age, you see their eyes light up. It's like, oh my God, I can actually have a cigar with my son now. Now I can share a beer with my son. It's even funny because I'm a craft beer enthusiast. I really like craft beer. Homebrewer as well, actually, make my own beer. I took a homebrewing 101 class in college as just elective, just for the heck of it, and it stuck with me ever since. So when they noticed that, hey, it's actually not taboo to be drinking beer because he drinks it because it's for the flavor or something like that. And they really opened up, and it was really fun. It's kind of a neat thing, like breaking bread with your parents, but we have a beer together. My mom got to visit with me this past summer, and we went to, it was a great excuse to finally get over to Richmond and check out breweries over there. We went to a park, and we just had a great time. So never made it a million years would I thought I'd be throwing back beers with my mom, but that's what we do.
Did she wear a fanny pack?
She did not.
Oh.
But I have been known to.
That's why you're the dad.
And with that, tabletop smash, thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke. That's good. All right. My next victim is going to be Sundeep. What's that alarm?
What's that?
What's that alarm? Your statement is, what's that alarm?
I did not get that after. What is that?
What's
again?
that alarm?
What's that alarm?
Alarm, ALARM, alarm.
What's that alarm? Good evening, Topics Master. Good evening, everyone. What's that alarm?
Is it a fire?
Would you like a different question?
David?
Is somebody dying? Are you dying right now?
Is it a tornado? Tornado? Is it a bomb?
Somebody let one go really loud and you thought it was one.
I think I broke Sundeep.
I'm not able to come up with anything. What's
All right. I can give you a different one. That's no problem.
Okay.
All right. The last time I picked up and read a book was
The last time I picked up and read a book was like probably yesterday. And I was reading this book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And it's by Ram Sethi. He talks about how to manage finances and like how to be more rich and how to like control your credit card spendings, how to like do your basic investments, and how to have a good spending goals, and try to have more like conscious kind of spending and not like spend literally on everything. So one thing which I liked most about that book was like he talks about 4 different types of categories. So one is like the fixed spending category where you allocate your 50 to 60% of your income to fixed spending, and then 10% to your savings, 10 to 15% to your investments, and the rest 20% is going to be your guilt-free spending. So basically, like you just spend literally on anything. Once you accomplish the rest, 80% of your expenses. So, and then it's like you can spend on whatever you like. It's not like you had to restrict like your $1 when you go to dinner, like you're like not buying the Diet Coke or you're not buying this and that. It's like you just spend on everything, and but with that 20%. And so that book was what I was reading on. Like it has been going on, and so that would be my answer. Topics Master.
all right. Thank you, Sundeep. Elizabeth, you up for one?
Sure, thank you.
All righty. I didn't realize that was for putting gas in my car? I didn't realize I was putting gas in my car.
I didn't realize I was putting gas in my car because I hadn't opened the gas cap and I was pressing the handle of the nozzle of the gasoline dispenser. And for some reason, I was talking to a really cute guy who was over there waving to me, and I'm pressing the handle on the nozzle, and the car gas cap wasn't connected. So before you knew it, the floor, the ground was covered with gasoline, and I could smell it, and that was on my shoes and my pants. And I was like, oh, what have I done? And I quickly put it into reverse and hung up the thing and hoped very strongly that no one would light a match. However, somebody was smoking and came nearby and blew us all up. And then I wound up at the pearly gates. And at the pearly gates, St. Peter asked me, what in the world are you doing here? It's not your time. And I said, well, I didn't realize I was putting gas in my car because I wasn't. And I was taken off purpose by an attraction. And that killed me. I knew there was no place in heaven for me, even though I may have blown up the whole gas station. I hope nobody else was hurt. I don't see anybody else here at the pearly gates with me, so I guess I was the only one. But it was fast and it was over quickly. So here I am, St. Pete, and please let me in, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Hey, thank you, Elizabeth. All right. Hey, Lawrence, you want to give this a try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Come on up. Come on up. All right. I didn't realize I needed that. Someone should have told me.
I didn't realize what's the last word?
Needed that. Someone should have told me.
I didn't realize I needed that. Someone should have told me. So I find myself in a lot of interesting places, one of which was my job recently or in the past. And they have this really interesting way of showing you how to work on something. It's actually a mechanic job. So they give your toolbox and send you out there. Well, normally they give you a toolbox and send you out there. Being a new guy, they just sent me out there. So I'm out at this tractor, this forklift, and they're like, hey, you need adjustable forklift wrench in order to fix the forklift, and I didn't know where to find it. Like I had no clue where to look because they hadn't shown me where the tool room was. I've virtually been on the boat 3 or 4 days. Like, here, go on out there and fix that. You got it. Like, all right. No. No. So lucky for me though, one of the younger guys came out and they're like, yo, you realize you need a tool tag to check out tools from the tool room to get the tool needed to fix the forklift. And I was like, oh my God, that's unreal. Thank you so much. I'll go get that now. So that is what I didn't realize I needed. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for stepping up and giving that a try, Lawrence. I appreciate it.
Oh, shucks.
All right. David Marshall, are you available?
Oh, yes, he is.
Is something burning in here? I leave my kids alone for 5 minutes. Is something burning in here? I left my kids alone for 5 minutes.
Oh, interestingly enough, when my oldest daughter was 2 years old, she decided she wanted to learn how to drive a car. So she was playing, and like 2-year-olds do, and everything. And I was going about my business, checking in on them in the living room, and doing what we had to do. And luckily enough, there was no smoke because the breaker worked. You see what I'm getting at? So she decided to turn the ignition on her car, which happened to be a wall outlet. Wow. So she's sitting there and she goes, I'm gonna start the car, and she sticks the paper clip in there, and she didn't get hurt. She felt it a little bit because interestingly enough, she didn't cry, but the breaker tripped, and I'm like, why is the breaker tripping? And then I went and I looked and I see her sitting there facing the wall, kind of, like this car, this imaginary car, paperclip on the floor, and she just kind of like shocked, like literally and figuratively shocked. Just a little bit, probably just on her fingers because the breaker worked, so thank God. And she didn't cry, interestingly enough. But I'm like, well, you don't need to do that. Don't do that again. But she learned a lesson, and she's fine. Breaker trip worked. So.
All right. Thank you, David. Alrighty. That will conclude the table topic session. Can I get a timers report, please?
Table topics, Luke, 1 minute, 25 seconds. Sandeep, 1 minute, 35 seconds. Elizabeth, 2 minutes, 4 seconds. Lawrence, 1 minute, 24 seconds. David, 1 minute, 27 seconds. Mr. General Evaluator.
Alrighty. Poll is up, so make your votes. For some reason, I don't see it on the screen.
See the strip of paper. Pepper.
Alrighty, back to you, Luke.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrew Bullock. Now we'll move into the third and final section of our meeting tonight, and that is the evaluation section. As you recall, we had a speaker section followed by the table topics, and now the evaluators will give us their evaluations on their respective speakers. To start us off, we will begin with Priscilla's evaluator, which will be given by Mr. David Anthony Marshall. Please welcome.
Interesting. So how many speeches you gave? Like 35? You seem very confident up here at the lecture. Very confident, very comfortable. You seem very comfortable here. You had a good reference, so you obviously did your research and you muted the content very well. You really understood the material, and that came across in your confidence. You did use very good voice variation. I did notice that, and you did use pauses, but I don't think they were intentional pauses. It seems like you were trying to catch what you were trying to do, which came across that way. When you want to use intentional pauses, that really helps your speech flow. But when you're using pauses to kind of catch yourself, that shows a little bit of unpreparedness, even though you knew the material. So And something else you did well, you had very good voice variation. Good lighthearted, sorry, you did very good lighthearted jokes. So I noticed that came across in your confidence and your comfortability. You was able to give some lighthearted jokes. So that's very good. One thing I would like to see you work on in future speeches is maybe more use of the space. You spend most of your time back here behind the lectern. So I would like to see you use the space a little more, maybe come from behind the lectern. Maybe come in a little sooner to set up your props, because you had props here. So if you're able to come in sooner to spend time on your props, then you can verify that, make sure everyone could see it. Maybe you choose a correct color that everyone could see. And if there's any corrections, you have time to do that. Doing that also will help you not turn your back to the audience while you're drawing. Because if it's already up there, then you could just kind of point to it. See what I'm doing? That'll help you do that. So for my challenge to you is maybe try to come in, if you can, try to come in a little earlier to set up your props so that you can do just like I demonstrated. You did understand the subject, but practicing will help you be better with your pauses, at least have intentional pauses. So that'll help you. But what you did well though, your pauses, you did not use filler words, which comes across as you being comfortable up here at the lectern, because normally when people are nervous, they'll try to fill that silence. You weren't uncomfortable in the silence, which is good. So that's all I have for you, is to be better prepared and to practice your speech more, because then that'll help you be, even though you're confident and comfortable, it'll help you present better, where you can engage better with the audience. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Moving right along, we'll have the tax evaluator, right? Given by Sandy. Cindy, please.
Toastmasters and guests. First of all, yeah, I would like to congratulate on your speech. I liked the topic, and it was an interesting topic. It was a continuation to your previous speech about gamification, which you spoke last week. So first of all, I would like to start with the positives. The first thing which I liked was you started off with a question. Like, you brought everyone into the speech directly. Like, you didn't take your time and everything. You started off by asking a question. So I like that part. And then I like the fact that you stood away from the podium so that you can like address everyone in the audience and you're not confined inside the space. So I think like you used the space quite well. And next thing is you kept the audience engaging and interactive. Like, you kept throwing questions, like you asked me and then you asked Rob. So you kind of like kept the audience engaging with your speech. Your usage of gestures was again like good. But sometimes it became repetitive, but I think overall you had a good hand gesture. Other than that, you're also having a good, comfortable level with the audience. I think you didn't seem that nervous except at the few places. So that would be the positives. So now things to work on. I noticed that at few places, I think in between the speeches, your eye contact was sometimes at the ceiling, and sometimes you're looking at the floor, which gave the impression that you were kind of not confident about your speech at that specific places. Maybe you forgot what you wanted to tell. So at that specific portion, you kind of had your eye contact away from the audience. So maybe like you can be more prepared so that you have your eye contact with the members. That would be one thing to work on. And then again, as Donna James in the last evaluation told, that your usage of fillers, like especially your liking for the filler, like I could see that again, like in a few places. So maybe you can try to be more conscious of those filler words.
Just that one.
And then now things to challenge. I would say maybe you can work more on your vocal variety. Like best example would be Rob, like how he like goes for the high pitches. Like for example, even today, he stressed on the word freedom at a specific place. So maybe things like that to give more flavor to your speech. So maybe you can try to add that into your speech. So overall, yeah, I liked the speech. It was interesting. It was engaging and everything. So good job, Zach.
Thanks, Sandy. Great job. Now bring it on home. Elizabeth Clare will be evaluating Robert Riggs speaking. So please, Elizabeth, take it away.
What an exciting and important speech to talk about your life goals. And I have to tell all of you, whenever I say the word Robert Riggs, I always follow it with remember that name, because I know Robert Riggs is going to do something big and special. And tonight we've kind of found out one of the special things he's going to do: make piles of money, own lots of land and be a landlord, and then do whatever he wants to do, travel wherever he wants to do with his $3 million and 20 homes that he owns. So he doesn't have to work another day in his life and can just decide what he's going to do with all that money. I like at the beginning, you asked the audience, why are you here tonight? I like that. Answers were varied. I like the place where you said, Doug, close your eyes and imagine saying, I choose not to work. I almost got lost because I wanted to keep thinking that. I finally am semi-retired, so wow, I'm 30 years later than Robert Riggs is in retired. You're excellent, you're clear. You spoke about one major goal. It was very logical. You broke it down into 5, 10, and 15-year plan. I like the voice variety. You're cheerful and you're very, very charming as usual. You seem totally committed and you seem very turned on by your goal. And it made me think how I should have had a strong goal much earlier in my life. Was this the right audience to talk about how much money you're going to make? That's one of the questions I have, and I'm not sure if you know that because I don't see the audience there right now. Did you tap into where they are about discussing money? Were they inspired? I like that you brought in that you were going to do it through perspiration and preparation. The purpose of this speech was to develop a detailed vision for your personal life or professional. You fulfill this by sharing the financial aspect of your vision. It wasn't clear how you intend to contribute to society in order to get all this money and make your piles of money. I suppose you would be a very good landlord and kind and keep everything in good repair, but you might want to stress the contribution that you're going to make in order to get all this money so that we can like you more rather than think you're just only money motivated. Money is a very energizing topic and is very anxiety provoking. Not everybody has money or has made plans so carefully at such a young age to make a lot of money. So I would say test your audience and see where they are and address where they are about feelings about money so that they're not only jealous when they see what your goals are, but they can enthusiastically applaud what you're doing. Did you think about delaying the happiness that there is of loving the job that you're doing so that you don't have to retire with piles of money? For the next part of the speech, you might include the negatives of focusing so long on money, saving and investing, being a landlord, and talk about the risks and things like recessions that you have to plan for. And enlist some more questions to create a connection between you and the audience. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you to all evaluators and speakers. As we bring our night to a close, I'd like to sort of reiterate for our guests and members that tonight was a little bit of a different night. We'll call it an abbreviated night. Typically, we would in with some what we call helper roles. Some examples of these helper roles would be a listen up person. This person would listen up role, would keep notes throughout the meeting and come up with questions to test our listening skills and ask the question and you can shout out the answers. We'd also have an awe counter who would pay attention to the filler words and keep counts for each person, as well as the word master who would challenge us with a word of the day to incorporate into our speeches. So there's some of the extra rules that we might generally have in a normal meeting that are perfect for all members and newer members alike to get involved with. With that, I still feel it was a great meeting. It flowed really well. And I really appreciate our speakers and the topics were really fun. Thank you, Topic Master, as well. And also a big round of applause for our Snack Master, Sandeep, for participating. And
Where's my copy?
Lee brought the.
We're on a pretty great roll, or a streak rather, of snacks. So that's awesome. So with that, I would like to officially adjourn my portion of the meeting and turn it over to our president for final announcement.
Timers
Timers report.
Timers report. Timers, what do we have? Oh, evaluation time report. Excuse me.
Forgot.
Twice. David Marshall, 2 minutes, 58 seconds. Sandy Ronnie, 2 minutes, 37 seconds. Elizabeth Claire, 4 minutes, 1 second. Mr. Tyson.
Wasn't I over?
For the best evaluator.
You were over by 31.
I think I went
Elizabeth
over.
ran over.
I ran over.
So don't vote for Elizabeth. It's between David and Sandeep.
Sorry. We all done voting? I'd like to ask, do we have the final counts of all the votes? Excluding the evaluating.
Count them as well?
We already did that. Andrew also has to send Lee the online votes.
I already did.
Well, if I may turn it over to our president to give his final remarks and also announce the winners once the votes are in. Does that sound good? Yeah. And thank you for bearing with me.
You see, Andrew got my theme music up. Thank you, sir.
Do they still play that theme music?
What's that?
Do they?
Yeah.
I know Bob's been off for a while, but.
Yeah, still singing for.
Well, as Toastmaster Dobbs mentioned, we had a very good event. Just to reiterate, I like to avoid the use the word meeting because no one wants to come to a meeting after a day full of meetings. Do you?
No.
No. No one wants to come to a meeting after a day full of meetings. So while I wait for our Sergeant at Arms to give me the other two, I'd like to call on Lawrence. How'd you enjoy the event today?
I think it was nice. This is something I've not had the luxury of doing in this life.
Mhm.
I've always had to endure these what we call them training events, where we have a similar set of bodies of people, but they evaluate you and they evaluate you so harshly. It's grueling.
Gotcha.
So To have it in this light environment makes a large difference.
Thank you, sir. And what do you call those events?
Huh?
What do you call those events?
Those, what do I call those events?
Yeah, what are they called?
Some of them are called boards,
Murder boards?
mortar boards, evaluation boards. Yeah, it's having this in this light is much more beneficial.
So there is a structure to these Toastmasters events, as Luke, Toastmaster Dobbs has alluded to. Generally, there's three, just so you're aware. There are three portions. There's the speak portion, table topics, and evaluation. Just as Luke said, usually we have other roles so that everyone gets an evaluation, not as grueling as we had. It's a lot more friendly. But we want to track all aspects of speeches that we're speaking. So you can come up here and be confident and say your speech, and you will get good, positive, encouraging feedback. We'll look at, you saw the evaluations. So on top of that, as Luke mentioned, we'll have other helper roles to help you with the filler words, the uhs, the ahs, the ums, the like, the knows, that sort of thing, that people generally use to fill the awkward pauses, like I just did. So when someone's nervous and there's a pause, they tend to go, like.
To be fair, you're usually awkward.
What's that?
So to be fair, you're usually awkward. That's a joke.
Nah. But that is a nervous. So because that's usually a nervous thing, we have an on-counter to help us realize that I might be using ahs too much, I might be using ums too much. And then that'll help us be aware the next time. And some other helper role. So you come back and join us again. Hopefully we'll have a full agenda and you'll get to see the full extent of what we're doing. And have fun with it. We do have projects. So Priscilla was working on her research and presenting. Is that number 2?
There's only one research and presenting. There's the evaluation feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was doing the research and presenting, and so she's almost done with level 1, right? You're almost done with level 1.
Evaluation.
Hey, you haven't given an evaluation, haven't you? You can give him one speech, you give an evaluation.
I thought you did 3.
Again?
I thought you did 3 speeches.
She was going to give another one, but she couldn't come because she had to work.
Oh,
That?
okay. Well, I'm looking forward. I see Priscilla improving a lot. And Luke's improving a lot. And so everyone's improving. That's what we like to do. Is come in here and we just all improve and have fun doing it. And then we go out to do like Robert said, go out to have to the Top Golf and receive Vice President Education.
Put it in my 2 weeks.
What?
2 months, maybe.
For real?
Yeah.
Wait,
But anyways,
you put in your 2 weeks for Top Golf?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
No. We need free golf.
So as president of New Year's Toastmasters, I'd like to put in a vote to decide if Luke can, if Zach can clear that. So
No, you can
all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Nay.
It's decided, Zach. You can't quit.
Someone else is gonna be a top golf.
Hey, Robert.
No, I'm gonna be moving soon. Yeah.
I'm missing one. Oh, there it is.
There should be 3.
So that's our general flow of our event. And we like to have fun. And we're not, and come as you are. See, he's wearing shorts and flip flops. I usually sweats. If you want to, Luke's comfortable with his blazers and stuff. That's totally fine. You just come the way you want. Dress though, don't come naked.
This is about as slob as
Don't come. Actually, you still need to wear clothes. You gotta wear clothing. So he's like, dang.
And this weather?
And we have our online
That was
class.
the
Elizabeth.
one.
Yeah, Elizabeth Claire, who was our veteran Toastmaster. Do you have any words for our guests?
Oh, try it, you'll like it. I tried it in 1992 and I'm still hanging around.
You said 22 what?
1992, I joined Toastmasters.
Oh.
When she was 22, she joined in 92.
Yeah, when I was 20. Yeah, no, it's always challenging and there's always growth. There's always interesting speeches that others do, things to learn, and social life and networking. It's just a multifaceted playground. Love it. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, we gotta acknowledge so we're facing this way and looking at the camera, but we gotta remember that we do have our online guests and our online members, so I try to be more, apologize if I
I can see you.
we're getting used to it.
No, you're looking at the camera and I can see you looking at the camera. You don't have to turn around.
Yeah, but it helps me to actually see a face, so
Oh,
it's,
okay.
you know, it's just weird. Maybe we can put another camera back there or something, or, I don't know. We'll get used to it. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll get a camera and have Robert just stand there and hold it.
We can use that one.
No, well, TV.
You can get a
Screen.
monitor. I mean,
Monitor.
we wanted to.
All right, so we're gonna go into our last portion and see who won.
Do we need to,
Oh, okay.
Can you read it again?
I was trying to, I need it, it's really slow.
do we want to set up the meeting in 3 weeks?
Yeah, we'll do that. Where's it? Andrew, there he is.
Ah.
So our next event will be, what day is it?
7th.
December 7th.
Oh, look at that, December 7th.
Really?
Wear the turkey hat. Someone should wear the turkey hat.
Day that will live in infamy.
The turkey hat.
Yeah.
All right, so let's fill these roles.
I'm already set up as the 4th speaker.
4th.
Yeah.
What about 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, Priscilla. How about 1, 2, and 3? You need a speech 2 weeks, Priscilla? Or you could, hey, Priscilla said she would evaluate me.
She said that.
Yeah, she told me. Priscilla said she would evaluate me.
Stop. So, so you want to get knocked out that evaluation part of your?
It's not as hard as you think.
Yeah.
You can do that. You get to rap on
Yeah.
it. Man, I mean, what's more fun than that? To get up here and just say, you know, Robert, you suck. Doesn't that feel satisfying already? You haven't even done it.
What was the last time Sandeep gave a speech?
Oh, Sandeep can have.
That is a good question. I actually haven't seen Sandeep give a speech probably since before I left on the Appalachian Trail.
It's been a while.
Atomic Habits.
Have you done one live?
I finished my L1 actually.
But have you done one here?
No.
You haven't done one?
Come on, Sandeep.
Sandeep. 3 weeks.
You got L2 stuff.
And then you got the mentorship one. That one's actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's when you just talk about somebody who was your mentor and how they affected your life. That wasn't that bad.
So the reason why we're here is so this is, put me down for a speech. I haven't done this.
I need to probably finish up my level 1, so.
Say that again. Sorry.
Put me down for one. I haven't done one in a while.
And Luke said he would do one as well.
Research and present.
He's got to do research and presenting.
I'm actually gonna do.
Birthday next year.
This is 3 weeks
Next year.
now. 3 weeks.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. 3 weeks is good.
Sandeep.
So,
How many speakers?
What's that?
I'll tell later. Not sure.
You'll do it? Is that what you said?
I'll tell later.
No.
What does that mean?
Come on.
You'll decide later?
I'll decide next week maybe.
Oh, okay, so he'll do it then. If you can't do it this week, that week, then you have to wait till January.
so
Yeah,
how
probably
long?
next year. That'll be better. Right?
No.
Oh, So we got helper roles. Marion, our counter, word master, listen up.
Elizabeth hasn't given a speech for a while.
No.
Let's hold this.
Elizabeth, you have your like,
Let's hold that slot open because I'm confident Sandeep's gonna want to see a speech
okay.
in 3 weeks. He'll give him time. I know he's gonna want to do it. That's what we're here for. We're here to say speeches. We're not.
I'll gladly drop my spot if Sandeep agrees to do his.
All right. Toastmaster of the evening. Don't all rush to, hey, calm down. Relax. We'll pick, let's see. Not everyone all at once. You got-
I could do that.
There we
All
go.
right.
There you go, yay.
Yay.
Virtual or in person?
Yeah, you can do either one, Elizabeth.
Can I do it? Look, I haven't had my booster shot yet. I'm a little anxious about like being in public.
Are you not, you're in Hampton Roads?
Yeah,
She's in her house?
Oh,
yeah, as of like a week ago.
Oh, yay.
Well, you can get your booster shot between now and then, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I just, requested that my doctor tell me where I can get one.
You can go to CVS, Rite Aid, anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere you can get that.
There's pretty much no wait line now.
Oh, that's good.
So, but either way, you can do it in person or online.
The December 7th.
Yeah.
Will you, Lawrence, will you be here on December 7th?
I will be here. I'm unemployed, so I'll be nowhere else but here.
All right.
You want to try Wordmaster? That's
Sure.
pretty easy.
Sure.
All you gotta do, really, pick a word, you put it on the board, tell us the definition, give a use in a sentence to understand how to use it, and then just keep track of who's using it. Really cool.
And then listen up as well.
And listen up.
Okay.
Listen up is a fun one.
That's my favorite one.
That's where you listen for everyone who's basically listen to the entire event. Anything is fair game, really.
Even the break.
Yeah, anything is fair game. So the whole point is
Stuff like
to,
clothing.
what's that?
Even stuff like clothing, so really anything.
I've
Yeah.
asked questions like how many guests are here tonight, and the members have to answer it. It's fun.
Yeah, everything's fair game. So
Okay.
you're monitoring, you're looking at the event, what's going on, you write down questions, and at the end, you ask them and see who can answer, basically.
Okay.
That's a fun one, I like that one. Listen up. Wordmaster Listen Up is reserved slot. Awesome. All right. All right, let's save that and we'll move on to our winners for tonight. And we got speaker. Who do you think is the best speaker?
I voted for not myself, so I don't know. For somebody who wasn't Robert Grace.
I'll give you a hint. Starts with a P, ends with a Illa.
Priscilla!
All right, you got it.
Again?
Did you guess that?
Did I get, oh, no, I thought you said, did you get snot? Because I was outside blowing my nose, so I was like, I was like, yeah, it was.
Everything come out all right?
You just wiped it on chest.
And tabletop. Mr. Lawrence. All right.
Yeah. You have the Rocky music.
Makes sense.
All right. Great job. Actually, for your first tabletop, it's a great job.
That was
Yeah,
good.
good.
Very good.
Hopefully you'll become a member, no pressure, but I can see you doing a lot of fun saying speeches. We'll talk about pathways and that sort of thing, projects, but it's a lot of fun. And evaluator is all right. Thank you, everyone. That was a fun event. not a meeting event, because no one wants it, right? And I like to say, and I didn't say it today, but I like to say in the beginnings, no matter where you've been, what you've done, everyone deserves a new beginning. Because that's what we do here. Everyone deserves a new beginning. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna grow in our speaking, and we're gonna have great Toastmaster veterans like Elizabeth Claire coming and make sure that we're doing everything properly, right? Right? And you were a teacher, weren't you? You were a
A
teacher?
long time ago, a teacher, a writer, a publisher, and now semi-retired. But I want to say the theme for our next event will be surprises.
Just like
Surprise! Were you the type that smack people?
Yeah.
Were you the dictionary type or you the ruler type?
What?
Or when you were a teacher, were you a dictionary type or the ruler type?
No, I was the gentle, encouraging type. I taught English as a second language.
That's good. I had a math teacher who was the dictionary type.
Which means what? They hit you with a dictionary?
Yeah.
I was a dictionary type with like you had to write the definition of
Yeah,
something
that's
like
what I
30
thought,
times.
I had that too. That's,
David had all sorts of disciplinary teachers apparently.
yeah.
Discovered them all.
Yeah. I saw a lot. I didn't experience it. Thank God. But okay, so we get to go to Topgolf. Oh, he was getting almost scared. He saw me pull a gavel on. He's like,
Right.
no. He's like, what you gonna do with that?
There's one of those disciplinary teachers coming at us now.
All right.